think is best for us to do is to really just embrace that this season is going to be here for the next 2.5 months at minimum, and there's not much that we can do besides embrace it. And the ways that we embrace it is by setting a cozy setting and a cozy environment within our homes, if we know that's where we're going to spend a lot of our time, prioritizing our wellness, prioritizing our wardrobe, and really cultivating a space where we can embrace having new habits, having new hobbies, and also just being in a place where we feel comfortable enough to rest and be cozy and replenish ourselves. Hey y'all, it's Megan May, and this is Transparency, where we keep it real about our growing pains and all the beautiful moving parts of life that may not be the most glamorous but shape us into who we are today. So if you're ready for some introspection and evolution, go ahead and lock in by hitting the subscribe button. And if what I says resonates with you, you can go ahead and leave me a comment and or like, so I know we see each other. So today we'll be talking about how to romanticize winter and make the most out of this cozy season. And this topic came to me because I feel like I've been struggling with this, and so I was looking into it to see like how I can basically lift my mood up. And I've never really associated myself with one to be going through like seasonal depression, and I'm not gonna claim that, but I do feel like having shorter days, feeling like once the sun goes down, I'm just super unmotivated, super just ready to get into bed and not really do anything too crazy. And that's just not good. Like, it just hasn't been working in my favor. And so I just wanted to see like what is it that I can do to pretty much make the most out of this season. But this is also going to be for those who are going through seasonal depression or who hate winter because it's cold outside. Again, the shorter days, it gets dark early, and probably just, you know, don't really too much care for the holidays. So it's like, what else is there to really look forward to? I'm going to touch on a little bit of everything about how we can make the most of these winter months. So for those of us who don't necessarily go through seasonal depression but don't really like winter because it's cold, it's gloomy, again, the days are shorter, those reasons, I think it's important for us to learn how to romanticize winter. And the way that I feel like we can do that is by just finding the things that are enjoyable. So for example, you know, when it comes to just driving around in this current month of December, just looking at the Christmas lights and all of the decorations that's outside, and just really taking in all the beauty that comes with the holiday season. Even if you're not big on holidays themselves for whatever reason, you cannot deny that it's very beautiful in certain neighborhoods. I will say that some neighborhoods, they don't really too much decorate for Christmas, but if it even takes just getting out of the house to go see the lights, there's so many places that are hosting light shows, so many different pop-up bars, things of that nature, where you can go ahead and enjoy some of the festivities. Like, even if you yourself are not a big holiday person, I feel like just finding those different things that are happening for that specific season to get you out of the house are things that you can go ahead and lean into to find ways to enjoy this winter season. But for those who don't necessarily like to get out of the house, or don't really care to get out of the house, don't really care to participate in any type of holiday festivities, or even if you like Christmas and, you know, after Christmas it's still cold up until like February, maybe March, and you want to figure out how can you go about embracing this season, enjoying this season, the first thing that I would suggest is to create a vibe or a mood for yourself inside of your home. Create a cozy environment that you don't mind snuggling up and being in. So let's talk about how to do that. So my biggest tip for this would be to just create a cozy atmosphere. And the way you go about doing that is, for one, going and buying yourself some really nice candles. Now, I know a lot of people don't like holiday scented candles, or like fall, winter type smells like apple, cinnamon, pumpkin. Honestly, I think pumpkin might be out once it comes to Christmas time, but I know apple cinnamon is a big scent. I know for sure one of the scents that I love the most at Bath & Body Works, and is here every single Christmas, is the Frozen Lake candle. It smells so good. But if you don't necessarily like holiday or like winter specific scents, I would say to get you some candles that have essential oil type scents. So like peppermint, or well, that could still be considered winter, but peppermint, eucalyptus, those type of oils that kind of like brings relaxation, brings a sense of renewal, allow you to get a good deep breath in and feel like I feel good. Definitely get you some candles. Another way to go ahead and create that cozy atmosphere and get that real good vibe in your home is to get you some good blankets. Now, these can be throw blankets, these can be blankets for your bed, whatever. But if you know you're going to be spending a lot of time indoors, then I think one of the best things you can do for yourself is get you some good cozy blankets. Now, you can go and get blankets from literally anywhere. I feel like a lot of places sell blankets these days, but if you want it to be specifically geared to around Christmas time and things of that nature, then places like Marshall's, Ross, TJ Maxx, you know, they are decked out. I mean, everyone is pretty much decked out for the holidays, but they definitely have festive type blankets that you can decorate your home with so that you can get a little bit more holiday feel. And again, for those who don't necessarily care for the holidays, you can go and get blankets from literally anywhere because it's winter time. So search online, or if you want to make some fun out of it, you can actually go in stores so that you can get a good rub and good touch on them and see if it's something that you feel like feels really good against your skin. And the last thing that I would suggest in terms of curating a cute little cozy environment for yourself is to get some form of lighting that changes colors. Now, this can be LED lights that change like colors, as in the Roy G. Biv, the rainbow type colors, or it could be something as simple as fairy lights that just brings a beautiful atmosphere into your environment. Like something that screams, it's time to wind down, or something that screams, let me just, you know, snuggle up and turn on a movie. Something that would relax you. As soon as you turn it on, it's like, okay, it signals to your brain that this is time to start winding down and breathe some relaxation. And the whole purpose here of creating a cozy environment is so that you can just allow yourself to feel peaceful when you're locking in indoors. Allow yourself to really have a moment of feeling very warm and toasty and cozy and happy. And I feel like once you start looking at things like that in terms of like, oh, it's so cold, I don't want to go anywhere, then you're kind of looking forward to being in the house because you've already created this space where you know it's good for you to relax in. You know, like you're not feeling like you should be doing something. You don't feel like, oh my gosh, it's so boring in here, I'd rather be outside, because you've created this environment where it's just like, I feel good. And that's what it's all about, like finding ways to make yourself feel good. So other things that you can incorporate into this is bringing nature indoors. I feel like a lot of the decor that I see includes like pine cones, or also just having some type of like warm lighting that's probably not fairy lights or LED lights, but changing your light bulbs to incorporate some warm cozy lighting that you would probably normally be looking at the sun to give you. Just, you know, little things like that. So the closest section, the biggest takeaway I want you to have is that when it comes to locking in indoors because it's too cold outside and you don't feel like leaving the home, I definitely feel like just creating a space that screams winter but also screams cozy is what's going to do the best for you. Go ahead and get you some good fox fur throws, get you some good just heavy like cotton throws, or even a snuggie. My brother got me a snuggie a couple Christmases ago. Whew, baby, highly recommend, because you just feel so like wrapped up. No matter how much you move in, it's not shifting, it's not doing nothing. You just feel like you're getting a warm hug, and maybe that's all you need. It's just an extra bit of comfort while you're locked in indoors. So definitely do that. And of course, like I said, get you some candles that smell real good. Vanilla is a good scent. Again, shout out to Bath and Body Works because Frozen Lake is like my favorite wintertime candle. But you can get anything that's, you know, giving like bakery, or just like that sweet, warm, cozy feeling. Like I know snickerdoodle is like a thing. Coffee flavored or scented candles, hot chocolate scented candles. Like, people are getting really creative, and so I feel like if you just lean into that instead of trying to fight against it, then you can find some real good enjoyment within this season, just from something as simple as the decor you have in your home. So something else that I feel like is important to incorporate into enjoying the winter season is to get outside if you are somebody that doesn't mind the cold, because I feel like just spending time in nature in general normally does a really good job at giving you a pick-me-up. And so if you're somebody that embraces the cold, maybe you're a winter baby and so the cold doesn't really bother you, some things that I would suggest to really enjoy this season is to find outdoor activities that are literally only offered within the cold season. So that could be going on a hike through like a very wintry type trail. So maybe it snows in your area and you want to go ahead and just take a hike through the snow. Of course, if it snows in your area, you can always get outside and have a snowball fight, create a snowman, do snow angels. And like, these things sound very childish, but it's for your amusement. It's for you to really not have to stay in the house or just think about how, you know, you probably have to push this snow or shovel this snow off your driveway. But okay, yeah, you have to do that anyway, so why not find some enjoyment in what else you have to do? So go ahead and head outside. You can have a bonfire, you know, make you some s'mores, make you some hot chocolate, and just chit chat around a fire with your friends. And if you don't want to go outside and have a bonfire, if that's not something that's accessible to you, then you could very well sit in front of a fireplace, cozy up, and watch some movies. Now, I was specifically trying to cater this segment to being outdoors, but that's definitely like an alternative for those of us who don't really care to be outside when it's cold, don't care nothing about no bonfire. Definitely sitting in front of a fireplace, cozied up with the things that I mentioned in the last segment, and watching a movie, playing board games. I'm laughing because I love SpongeBob, and that's something he was talking about when they had like a little storm going on. But it's facts. Like, you can drink hot cocoa, drink you some hot tea, play some board games, watch a movie, snuggle up. Literally anything. It's so many things that you can do, and I feel like as long as you emphasize just being super comfortable, super cozy, and just being around people that bring you joy, people that spread happiness and cheer, because that's what I feel like is often promoted through the wintertime anyways. It's just joy, cheer, happiness. And also, since it's the end of the year and also the beginning of the next year, I feel like this is a good time to also incorporate just some gratitude, you know, reflection, some gratitude, which we'll touch on later on in this episode. But before moving on, just to summarize what I'm saying here about getting outside, is just take in nature. Nature changes every season, and so if you're somebody who really enjoys being outdoors, find the beauty in what you see outside. Like, maybe it's when you talk and you see your cold breath creating this smoke illusion or this smoke effect as you speak. Like, maybe it's putting that shit on. Maybe it's that. Maybe it's like, okay, I don't really care to be outside, but I'm still gonna, you know, put myself together in a really nice way and find the time to really curate a cute little wardrobe so that when you step outside, yeah, it's cold, but I look good, you know. And oftentimes, like we always say, when we look good, we feel good. So the cold probably wouldn't even bother you as much because you know that you outside looking good and you going from point A to point B. You're not spending no, you know, long amounts of time outside, but you look good, you feel good, and you willing to go outside and do some exploration in nature. Or maybe not even in nature. Maybe you're going shopping, or you're going, I don't know, on any type of adventure. But just putting a little bit more thought into your pieces, because you know, like, this is not something that you're going to strip off as soon as you make it to your destination. You're probably going to keep it on you. So why not, you know, look good? So another way that I feel like changing our perspective from winter being dreadful to it just being another time of year that we still get to enjoy, is by focusing on our wellness, our overall wellness of our mind, our bodies, our souls. And the way that I feel like we can go about doing that is to incorporate an actual workout routine, for one, because this is the time of year where you're building your summer body, which honestly, I didn't even know that this was the cheat code until last year. Not that it changed too much of anything, because baby, I was inside eating my life away, eating my little heart out. So it didn't really change much for me. But I know that a lot of people, again, dread leaving the house once it's cold outside. And especially like if you're somebody that works like a 9-to-5 job, you're getting off of work, you probably don't want to go to the gym. So what I would suggest is waking up earlier if you can, and going ahead and getting that workout in then, because as we all know, working out, moving your body, and making sure that you get some type of movement in throughout the day creates a dopamine effect within your brain, and so you're in better spirits already. So despite it being cold outside, despite it being gloomy, you are in good spirits. And so if you start your day off like that, it's less likely for, I mean, things do happen, but it's less likely for you to just be dragging through the day thinking like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to go home. But then you get home and you're like, oh my gosh, it's already dark. Oh my, like just sitting here miserable. It's less likely. But for those of us who do have time after work, or who don't necessarily care about it being dark, being cold, I definitely suggest going ahead and locking in on some type of fitness routine, some type of fitness regimen. And I feel like for those who probably are like new to the working out space, I would suggest, if you can, to find different types of clubs or, you know, classes that you can go to, so that you can probably find a buddy in there, or just become well acquainted with at least one person in there that you can have as your accountability partner, or you guys can just, you know, look forward to going and seeing each other so that you can be consistent in going and getting your workout in. I would also suggest, you know, keeping a good track record of what's going on through your mind, what's going on with your day. Because now that you have, I guess, less of a day, you would say, I think once you're locked in indoors, it's kind of easier for you to be intentional about sitting with your journal and reflecting on your day, sitting with your journal and reflecting on your goals. What is it that you really want to be able to lock in on this season, since you locked in the house anyways? What is it that you really want the most for yourself as the new year approaches, or as the next season, which is spring, approaches? What is it that you really want to continue to build a foundation for, so that when, you know, the time changes again or the season changes again, you feel a sense of renewal and you're ready to take on things from a very strong-headed approach. So while it's sitting here all cold outside, I feel like one of the most important things to consider when it comes to prioritizing your wellness is to make sure that you're layering up. You know, a lot of us, we just be feeling so cute, and you know, we be still wanting to dress how we want to dress, but please dress for the weather, because there's nothing more annoying than being sick. Imagine the days are already shorter, it's cold outside, but you still have things to do, you still have places to go, but you're going to be more miserable if you have to do those same things sick. And how do we get sick? By not being prepared. We're not taking our supplements, like loading up on vitamin C. You know, we're not really doing our best because we're vitamin D deficient, and we're not really supplementing that with vitamins. So just take into account how you can prioritize your health in the smallest of ways. And that's really just by taking those 2 supplements that I just recommended. You can also take echinacea, elderberry, those type of things. Ginger is really good as well. And just by layering up when you step out of the house. Check the weather. Make sure your car is warmed up before you leave out so that you're not riding halfway through your commute in a cold car, because that's also something that can get you. If you're taking showers in the morning before you head out, make sure that your ears, your head, your chest, your neck is covered, because nobody wants to be sick. And when people are around you coughing and sneezing, not covering your mouth, lying, saying they got allergies, make sure that you're taking your precautions by washing your hands often, trying to avoid touching your face. And I mean, these are things that you should be doing anyways, despite what season we're in. But I feel like this is the season where a lot of people do tend to get sick because they're just not preparing themselves for this type of weather, and depending on where you live, because today is December 18th and I live in the South. And you know, like, it's 70 degrees today, but it's gonna be 47 degrees like next week. And honestly, it was just like 40 something degrees over the weekend, I believe. So, you know, with the fluctuation in temperatures and things like that, that's also another way to get sick. Going from air to hot to air to hot, depending on like what type of work environments you work in or school, that's another way to get sick. So you just have to do your own due diligence in making sure that you're optimizing your health and prioritizing your health. So please do that. And like I said, a good way to go about making sure that you're bundling up and you're actually having fun and enjoying the process of having to bundle up is by finding stylish pieces that you actually like and using this time to curate your closet with things that you wouldn't mind layering up, because you know you finna look good. So yeah, get into that. I would also suggest staying hydrated, because aside from taking your supplements, you do need to stay very much hydrated, the same way that you would need to stay hydrated in the summer, the spring. Definitely staying hydrated, because water is a healer. It doesn't matter what time of year it is. I feel like, you know, we don't necessarily feel like eating salads when it's cold, drinking probably a smoothie when it's cold, drinking water when it's cold. And you don't have to drink the smoothie. You can substitute it with a nice good hot tea, a nice good herbal tea. Baby, look it up online, because I don't have no recipes handy for you. But again, I did mention some things that are good for your immune health, good for inflammation and things of that nature. So you can go ahead and do, you know, further research on what's good for you. You could also use this time to go ahead and get you a doctor's appointment in and see if you're deficient in anything, so that when you're taking these supplements that probably you don't necessarily take unless it's cold and flu season, unless it's cold outside, you know, you can get in the habit of taking other supplements that you possibly been needed, but you know, now's just the time to do it. Last thing I would suggest in terms of, or actually I have two more things that I would suggest in terms of prioritizing your health, your wellness, is to find different soup recipes, because honestly, I feel like when you incorporate soup into your diet, it's easy for you to load in on veggies and things of that nature. And I feel like it's not really too much processed things that go into soup. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I know there's a lot of cream-based soups and heavy soups of that nature, but you know, like, you could treat yourself to those type of things too. But I feel like definitely getting your chicken noodle soup on, drinking your bone broth for your good health, things of that nature. Like, use this time to start cultivating healthier options into your diet. Roasted veggies are really good, and root veggies are really good roasted. You know, I mean, you could do whatever, but those are just some of my suggestions. And in terms of your mental health, I would suggest incorporating practices like taking long hot showers with the little essential oil steamers, or you can have some essential oils in a nice hot bath. You know, get you a nice cozy robe for the season, so that when you step out of the bath, you can lather up in some really nice good smelling oils or body butters, you know, something thick that's gonna keep your skin hydrated. And also, you can just go ahead and journal by the fire, journal in your bed while you got the TV TV playing in the background, or you have some nice music playing on in the background with under your little fairy lights. You know, just find ways to really make this not so dreadful. Find ways for this to be enjoyable, for you to feel like you probably in a movie or something, you know. The biggest game changer for me though, when it comes to the winter months of the year, is just slowing down. I feel like when it's summer, when it's spring, summer, and even part of fall before it starts to get really cold, we are just moving so fast because we're trying to do so much within our day. We have a lot of sunlight, so why not? But you know, since it's getting darker earlier, why not just start slowing down in our evenings? We don't have to rush to do so much, you know what I'm saying? We can find things that we actually like to do and do those things in a very slow and steady motion. Like, we don't have to rush to do it. And something I feel like is very important or very helpful for us to slow down is to start adopting hobbies that we can do in the house. Now, this can be anything. I feel like a really good winter hobby to incorporate, because it's also going to get you a little warm, is learning how to bake. Learning how to bake. You can also find different recipes for like hot cocoa or cookies. Again, soups, stews, those type of things that keep you in the kitchen. I'm not saying to eat all day long, all evening long, every day you come home, you just can't wait to get in the kitchen and make you a big hearty meal followed by a good sweet snack, good sweet treat. But I am saying to, you know, find different things in the house that you enjoy doing. So if you're somebody that already likes to cook but you never really tried baking, then give baking a try. If you're somebody who normally would be on games in the evening, then you can try substituting games for puzzles or TV shows for books. But I'm not saying anything is wrong with being on the game. I'm not saying anything is wrong with binge watching a show in the evening if you know that you've done everything else that you need to do. But I am saying to just find different things to do that probably is outside of your norm, but will prove to be enjoyable to you during this season. Because I mean, how much TV can we actually watch? Like, for me, I know after a certain amount of episodes, I'm knocked out, and I might be knocked out with a good book too. But you know, it's something that's edifying me. Same with puzzles. It's something that's really like helping you to really exercise your brain and not really just sit in the house rotting your brain just because you don't feel like going outside or you don't feel like going anywhere. And what I feel like finding this hobby will do is also find a different way for you to connect with yourself and connect with others. Because obviously, if we gotta be in the house, we don't want to be in the house alone. I feel like when we was in the house and everybody had to be like alone and to themselves during COVID, a lot of people was going crazy. And I do not say that to be funny. A lot of people was going crazy. So if you're somebody who doesn't like being in the house and that's part of your reason for not liking winter, then I feel like you need to start incorporating different things to do with your friends and your family in the house. And you guys can get creative. You guys can have slumber parties where you dress in nice cozy pajamas. You know, again, get creative with the foods that you're eating, and probably invite people over to have like a whole bake off, or you know, just something fun that you don't probably normally do, that you probably wouldn't even consider doing because you will be outside from sun up to sundown. But now that you're inside, just finding things that's going to bring you together, that's going to help you guys connect more deeply. I think what I love doing when I'm with my family is just playing games. And when I'm with my bond family, I love just, you know, talking and telling stories and reminiscing. And I feel like that's what's really good about having that deep connection and like gathering up and congregating up with your loved ones. Is being able to find different ways to connect, being able to find things to laugh at together, going down memory lane together, and finding new things to explore together. And just because you can't leave the house or you choose not to leave the house doesn't mean that these things are inaccessible to you. Like, you still can very much find ways to connect with each other in the home. A good way to go about that is by playing games, watching movies, telling stories. But a good place to go and find like things to do other than TikTok, because I know TikTok is where people go to find basically almost everything these days, is Pinterest. Pinterest literally have like boards that are just full of things to do in the house, things to do with your loved one, things to ask or things to do to get to know somebody that you know already or want to get to know a little bit deeper. So that's one of my suggestions. And lastly, what I would suggest for you to do is to rest. Rest. If you go through the entire year just being a busybody, going from point A to point B, getting up early at 5 a.m. to go to the gym, you get out the gym, you go to work, you get off work, you do something with your friends, like just being on this cycle of just not stopping, not sitting down, not just giving yourself a moment, giving yourself a real beat, or being intentional about it at least. I feel like, why not just embrace this slow season and this season of just dark and gloominess to really just get your rest in, to recuperate, to reset, to refresh yourself, replenish yourself, because you know that spring is coming again, you know that summer is going to come again, and you know just how much of a hustle and bustle you're going to be in those seasons. So I feel like, if nothing else, if you don't feel like doing nothing else, just learn how to embrace being able to rest. Allow this to be a season of rest where you're embracing things being slow, and you come home and really have like a good wind down routine. You might cook yourself dinner, eat, watching a movie. You might go ahead, take you a nice long shower, get into bed earlier, prioritize getting a full 8 hours of sleep. You know, journaling again is really good to end your day. And I feel like because it's already so slow and so dark and so cozy, just writing, you know, some things that you were grateful for that day, some things that probably happened throughout your day, and really just getting real deep into who you are and the things that you love, the things that you hate, the things that you want to change, is really good for you during this season. So that is like the final suggestion I have about romanticizing the winter, is really just prioritizing your rest, because that's what's gonna make you beautiful, baby. That's what's gonna allow you to give you that extra charge and put that battery in your back for the remainder of the year. So to recap, what I think is best for us to do is to really just embrace that this season is going to be here for the next 2.5 months at minimum, and there's not much that we can do besides embrace it. And the ways that we embrace it is by setting a cozy setting and a cozy environment within our homes, if we know that's where we're going to spend a lot of our time, prioritizing our wellness, prioritizing our wardrobe, and really cultivating a space where we can embrace having new habits, having new hobbies, and also just being in a place where we feel comfortable enough to rest and be cozy and replenish ourselves. So if you have anything to add to this conversation, then go ahead and of course leave it in the comments. I enjoyed making this for you guys because obviously, like I said, I was struggling on being able to embrace this season myself, and I really wanted to be able to find different ways to cope with it and not really fight it, not really try to run from it, because I mean, it's here and it's going to be here for the next couple of months. So I'll leave you with that. I thank everyone for watching, for listening, and of course, if you have anything to add to the conversation, then go right ahead, leave it in the comments. You of course can tag me on social media and let me know what you're doing to romanticize your winter, to enjoy this season, and maybe even who you doing it with. Like, spill the tea. So yeah, I hope everyone has a great weekend and a great week ahead, and that's all from me. Toodles.